Hi everyone, my name is Claire Badelka, and this is my first year with the Navigators. I am a first year music student currently majoring in opera. I grew up in a Christian home with both of my parents being Christians, and I went to church every Sunday, and I went to a Christian elementary school, so I definitely knew about God, and I knew about Jesus, and I had accepted him into my life at around 5 years old at a Bible camp during the summer. I just continued to know that I wanted to live a Christian life and I wanted Jesus in my life, and at the age of around 9, I got baptized with my brother by one of our youth pastors, and that kind of just propelled my journey forward, going to Christian camps like Quanos, and just meeting lots of different people and different events. I went to the same elementary school from the beginning of preschool all the way till grade 7, so I was there for 10 years. And I never had the experience of being a new kid or anything like that. And so when I went to high school, I wanted to kind of get that experience. And so I ended up being the only person from my grad class going to the local high school, Delta Secondary. And I definitely got the chance to be a new kid, and being in a more public school, then it was a big change. I remember in grade 8 trying to find a friend group, and that was a little difficult, but I ended up finding some people and some girls from the church that I went to, and they were a couple years older than me, and they invited me in and just to be a part of that group and to join in with them. Throughout high school, it was definitely difficult being the only Christian that I knew in my grade, and that kind of continued until grade 12 as well. I did find people that were either older or younger that were definitely there to help me along with my journey and with my youth group. Not all of the girls were Christians, but my youth group was more of an outreach as opposed to an in-depth, and so I was really spending a lot of the time with my youth leaders. And they were very helpful in, making sure that I was still being looked after and cared for spiritually, which was definitely a big help and something that, kept me going. I definitely experienced a little bit of bullying for being a Christian, and people kind of took it as a bit of a joke, being like, oh, you're the good little Christian girl, or, just thinking it was funny. But yeah, I ended up going on a missions trip with my church, and that was probably one of the most influential things that has happened to me. It was in 2018 now, and so it was during the summer, and with a group from my church, we went to Poiēma, Malawi in Africa. And Malawi is one of the poorest countries in the world. And just the culture shock of going from Vancouver, British Columbia, and then going to Africa. The main thing that stuck out to me was probably the joy that the kids had. They just had this abundant joy that was contagious, with a bright smile on their face, and you just couldn't help but wanting to join in and being a part of it, and they loved playing with us. We ended up helping with a summer camp program, and I ended up teaching some music classes, and it was really interesting just to see their different style, and we had some drums that they were able to play, and we always tried to make sure that at least once a day they would get to kind of show us their style of music and not just me teaching them something that's more westernized. So I taught them a new Christian song each day, and they just loved it and were absorbing all of the music and loved playing the guitar. And it was just really great to see this love and passion for Christ and also for learning and community. Definitely experiencing the fact that the kids were so happy and they were so content despite having so little. It was definitely something that spoke to me and still speaks to me every day. And I remember this one little girl, and her name was Hopeness, and she was really, really hoping that she would get sponsors so she could go to school, because her father had said, I don't have enough money, you have to try and find someone to sponsor you. And at the end of our 2 weeks there, she happened to get sponsored by one of the ladies at our church, and the joy that she had just to be able to go to school was incredible. Especially going from, in Canada or the United States, people are a little bit more like, oh, I don't really want to go to school, or I don't really want to, get up in the morning. And here, these kids are so excited to be able to go to school. It was incredible. 2020, that was the year I was supposed to graduate. I had been looking forward to it since I was a little kid, getting to get my grad dress, getting to be able to go to, my grad ceremony, walking across the stage, getting my diploma. It was, everything I had dreamed of since I was a little kid, Definitely did not go the way I planned. And definitely COVID-19 put a big damper on those plans. But I think because that happened, there were so many things that I never would have done or never would have experienced if that hadn't happened. I met some of the most amazing friends that I had. They ended up being some exchange students, and usually I didn't really talk with them or communicate with them or hang out with them, but I ended up becoming super good friends with them, and they were my bubble during the summer, and we just had so much fun, and it was really nice to just connect with people who understood me and understood, just my likes and dislikes and things like that. Also with graduation, I actually ended up getting to wear my dress a lot more times than I usually would. Instead of once, I probably had 4 or 5 different graduation ceremonies or opportunities where I wore my dress or hung out with small groups of friends in order to celebrate our graduation. And that was just really cool, seeing the community come together and try to give us an experience that was definitely different from what we had anticipated. Going into my first year of university was definitely, I was a little nervous, but it ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Being in first year music, we're kind of like, how do you do music online? This is going to be a little strange, but it was really good. All the professors were very understanding of not really knowing how this was going to work, and all the students were kind of in the same boat. I was still able to go to in-person voice lessons, which was very nice to be able to go onto the campus and just see the beauty of it and connect with some people. And that's pretty much what's happening this term as well, going just for voice lessons. But we also are getting the opportunity to have a little bit of a performance called a divisional. Last term, it was just me, the accompanist, my voice teacher, and the person filming, and we watched them all online. But this term, we are hoping to be in the Chan Center and be able to have a really small audience of some of the other students. So that's really exciting. Bye.